Yeah. Back at it. I'm back at it. Jump fresh, shop in that brand new Lex. I always think about money.
Hey yo, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy Magic Don Twan, back at it again with another video for y'all, man. Hey, look, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? Do all that for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the notification bell so I can keep you up to date on everything popping up here at Stevens Transport. Today is a good day. Any day above the ground is a good day. Stevens Transport really saved my life out here. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna just tell y'all a little story about this. How I got into this game. This trucking game. So, for those who don't know, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised, you know, grew up in the gritty city, the murder midden, or whatever people want to call it. One day I decided to move out of Michigan. I wanted to start my whole life over. I said, hey, I want to get out of these streets. I want to do something good for myself. I moved down to Mississippi. Of all places, I moved to Mississippi. But I learned a lesson down there. I actually started applying a lot of hard work. And I got a job down there working at a mental health facility called Boswell Regional Center. It's a state job. Started working there, realized like, man, it's not enough money. So I got a second full-time job. It was at an adolescent center, just like Boswell, the mental health facility. It was for, of course, it was for children. That one wasn't backed by the state, but I had the experience because I was working at Boswell. So I'm working these two full-time jobs. I'm doing everything I can to get to the money, get to the bag. I've always been a hustler. I've always been one to get up, go to work every day, do what I gotta do. I ended up getting married in Mississippi. And, you know, marriage is bliss, don't get me wrong, but bad decision for myself. I should not have got married then. I'm currently divorced now, and I am dating. I'm with my woman who was with me when I was shooting in the gym, but we're gonna get there. So, working these two full-time jobs, like I say, the money wasn't like I needed it to be. And then I started going through my divorce. Got into, I separated from my wife. We did have a child together and everything. I got me an apartment. I had a car. I had a couple cars. And I'm running these jobs, these two full-time jobs every day, 6 days a week. I was working 6 days a week. Monday through Friday, I was full-time from 5 a.m. all the way until 11:30 at night. I was at work all day. And on Saturdays, I only worked one of the jobs, which was the adolescent center. And I was off on Sundays. I got tired of it. Like, I got tired of the constant scramble, not getting enough sleep. Still have to be up 5 o'clock in the morning, ripping and running. I'm dealing with mental health patients. Yo, that will mess with your mental. And, you know, one day I decided, like, I don't want to do this no more. There's something greater for me out here. So I left one job, which was Boswell, and I was just working my second shift over at Mill Creek, and I was going there doing that. And of course, the money slammed down because I left one job. But in the meantime, I was trying to find something else. Like, yo, what can it be? What can it be? And I had a friend, a truck driver. I was down at his house, coolest cat ever, you know what I'm saying? I was down at his house, we were chilling, we were talking, and he was like, man, hey, go get them L's. You know how we talk, man, you need to go get them L's. So I'm like, okay, what's the process? You know, what all I gotta do? So I was trying all the trucking companies around the area, just where I can go. I went down on the coast. They had a school down on the coast. I went to Jackson. I tried KLLM, and I tried a couple different places, and it was like, hey, it still wasn't fitting for me. Like, these places aren't fitting for me. And I was down at his house again. I went back down to my homeboy house, and we was down there talking. And he had actually been down for like a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. Because his truck was in the shop, and he wasn't taking any loads. But, of course, he does well. He owns his truck. He wasn't really tripping about the money anyway. He got that bag. And we sitting down talking, and his truck finally got out the shop. And we sitting out there, and he get a phone call. I was out there helping him in the country. You know, you have to build your own trash can. So he was building a trash bin out on his land for the garbage company. And so we were sitting out there talking, and he got a phone call. The phone call was from a broker. The broker, he had just got his truck back, and he was looking for some loads. So this broker got back with him, and the broker said, "Hey, I'll give you $7,500 to take this load up to South Dakota, and I'll give you another $5,500 to come back." And he was back in like 4 days. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's the kind of money you making? I said, yeah, that was it for me. So that's when I officially tried the school down on the coast. And then they was like, hey, you need a co-signer and all of this for school and this, that, and the third. So I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling people. I'm like, hey, I need a little help getting into this school. Once I finish, I have a job, and you know, I can get a job, and I'll be able to pay this money back. And I'll be able to pay the school back, and the co-sign will come off of you, come on to me. People wasn't buying that. They wasn't buying that. They like, nah, we can't do it. I can't do it. You know, family members are, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm like, yo, I went back down to his house, and I was telling him, like, look, it's coming to a dead end. Like, I don't know, you know, I might have to go back to this Boswell thing. So he was like, nah, call Stevens. Said, I started out at Stevens. Man, I got like 3 felonies. They gave me a chance. I said, okay. So I picks up the phone, I gets on the internet, look up Stevens Transport, gets the number, call up there. I never forget my recruiter name. Her name was Brittany. I called. She say, okay. I give her all the information, everything clear, you know, did everything I had to do. And she was like, when can you start? When can you start? All that day in one day. When can you start? I said, well, when can you send me when can you send me out? She was like, well, I can get you on the bus to Colorado to go to school to get your license and everything. Now, mind you all, I skipped a little part. I already had a permit. I had took the test, general knowledge test and all of that stuff, paid for it, did all of that. I had a permit already. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I already got my permit. You gonna send me up here to school. I get up there. This the thing in Colorado. In Colorado, you have to actually do all of that over. Like, your permit is null and void in Colorado. If you get it anywhere else, in Colorado, your permit is null and void. So I had to go through this whole thing again. But it was okay. I had studied that test so many times. It was like I knew it like the back of my hand. And when I got up there, I went to Careers Worldwide, one of the best trucking schools out there. I went to Careers Worldwide. And when I got up there, I did everything I had to do for that school. It's an accelerated course. And it came down to, okay, they said, okay, in order to take you down here to get this, get your permit or license or whatever that is, all the stuff you need, you have to have your original birth certificate. Now, like I told you, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So that already held me up. Like, I was able to get the permit, but when it was time for me to get the license, I didn't have my original birth certificate. So now I'm back on the phone again. I'm calling everybody in Michigan. I called my mom. She couldn't go up to Lansing to go down there to get the original birth certificate, because when you have a birth certificate, it's 2 different kinds you can have. One of them has the I think it's the governor's signature or something on it. That's the one you need. So I'm called my mom. She couldn't get up there and do it. I had no other avenue. I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to leave school. Like, I'm gonna have to leave school and redo this whole thing all over again. So I called my dad, and my dad was with my grandmother. And Lord rest her soul. I told her what was going on, and she was like, I'm gonna go up there and get it for you. I'm like, you gonna do that for me, Granny? She was like, all I need is a little gas money, but I'm going to Lansing to get your birth certificate. So she drove, her and my dad jumped in the car. They drove from Detroit, Michigan up to Lansing. They went up there, they did everything they had to do, got my birth certificate, mailed it off to me. I am very much so grateful for that. Lord rest her soul. My grandmother passed a year later. So they sent it down there to me. Okay, now it's time for me to go down there and get the license. I didn't have the money to get the license. So I'm broke. I got my birth certificate now, but I'm broke. I can't get the license. I call a friend. I'm like, hey, and it was actually on my birthday. I called a friend, and I'm like, hey, look, I need $75 to get my license. Like, I got everything I need. Now I just need to pay for the license. Sent the money right over. So cool. And back to that friend again. When it came down to the money that I needed to send my grandmother to have the gas money up there, my friend who sent me over to Stevens, said call Stevens, he sent me the money. He actually sent the money to my grandmother for her to drive up there and get my birth certificate. This is how God works. So got all of that done. Another friend sent me money to pay for my license. So I got all of it done. Got my license. Passed the school, Careers Worldwide. Great school. I was able to stop by there actually last year and talk to a few of my instructors there and show them my progress. So I get down to Stevens. This is a whole new field. I'm excited. Went through the vigorous orientation. And after orientation, got with my trainer. I had the coolest trainer out there. But remind you, I'm still struggling. So when I did get on my trainer's truck, all I had was a book bag. That's what I left Mississippi with, a book bag. I didn't have anything else but a book bag with a few clothes in it, you know, essential things I needed. I got on my trainer's truck. First thing he did, he seen all I had was a book bag. He pulled into Walmart. He got me covered, pillows. He bought a boatload of food for the truck. And he let me know right then and there, like, hey, look, I got you. I got you until you really start getting to the bag. And that meant, to him, that meant once you get out of training. Because when it came down to my food, all the stuff I needed, he took care of me out there on the truck. And me and him to this day is cool. I can call him right now for anything. If I need anything, any help, anything, I can call him right now to this day. And this was over 3 years ago. Well over 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Got off his truck, got my own truck. Now I have been saving a little money, doing all that I had to do. And I get on my own truck. Wasn't long before, of course, everybody knows Stevens offers you to sign a lease. Yeah, I'm signing the lease. I had already went through the whole thing. My trainer was leasing, and he showed me his checks. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to make money like that. So it was a month. I was a company driver for 1 month. And how it worked was, I left the yard. I ran a load out to North Carolina. Actually, I ran my first load to San Antonio. Then I picked up out of San Antonio and I went down to Laredo. I grabbed a load out of Laredo, went straight to North Carolina. I got a load out of another load, a Tice load out of North Carolina. And I ended up running out of hours because you use your clock when you're on the yard and you're in grad class. And all of that counts as work time. So I had ran out of hours and I had to be repowered in Atlanta. not knowing where the heck I was, but I was at the worst pilot that you could be at in Atlanta. And if you a driver, you know which one that is. So I got repowered out there. Gave me another load. Now I'm supposed to be going home. They gave me another load. The repower was to go back to North Carolina. And then once I dropped that load, the load come from North Carolina to Laredo. Now I'm supposed to be going home for my home time. Well, that didn't pan out well. The weekend came, my DM didn't set up my home time. So I end up having to pass back through Mississippi, go all the way to Laredo, and then drop that load. Then I picked up another load that went to Pensacola, Florida. From there, they allowed me to deadhead home from Pensacola. So while I'm at home, they called me and said, hey, you know you ran about 7,000 miles in the past couple weeks. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And they was like, you want to come sign the lease? That's what I was there to do anyway. I'm about to sign this lease. So I signed the lease. And once I signed that lease, my first check after signing the lease was like $3,500. And everybody know that first check will be a big check, because your first week is free, and the only thing you're paying for is diesel and insurance. And the next 3 weeks after that was prorated. So yeah, I stacked my money up that first month. But this is my first time really making money like this. So after I had saved a little money, I started spending money. And then you get these rough patches. You get rough patches out here. So it started getting a little hard, but I was still making 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 1,600 there. Sometimes even my business counselor called, like, oh, we had a good week making money. And so now we're gonna say this is about, like, we go 6-7 months down the line. 6-7 months down the line, I get a call saying, hey, you want to be a trainer? Like, you've already ran through a winter. You're doing excellent on miles. I'm gonna see if I can push you up to be a trainer. Now, since being a trainer and since being a driver for so long now, I realized I was very much so inexperienced to be a trainer. But I accept it. And I've learned a lot through that. That's when the bag got big. So I dedicated myself to really learning how to be a good trainer. Like, I'm gonna do all the things. I was calling my trainer on a regular. He probably got tired of it. I was calling him, hey, what should I do for this? What should I do for that? Now the money was getting great. And then I went through that spell again where I had never made money like that before. So I was spending again. Got down bad. But I was working, I was still bringing the money in, but, since my bad spending habits, I would be, I was never behind on my truck note, number one. Number two, I was always getting a paycheck every week, well over $1,000, but my spending habits were bad. So I was down bad, and it came a time where I had no money. I was making it, but it was going right back out to bills or whatever it is I had to do. So one day, I'm out here on the road, my cell phone gets cut off. And I'm up here, I was in Milford, Connecticut. I'm up in Milford, Connecticut. I'm sitting out there, there's a pilot out there. And I was using that Wi-Fi to be on the internet, just sit on the internet. And this young lady that I had known for years through the internet. And we always share each other posts or whatever, like each other posts on Facebook. And I was sitting there and I posted something, I can't remember. And she commented on my post. And then we started having this conversation. And she pretty much asked me in a long question, did I have a girlfriend, without asking the question. So once I pretty much told her, no, I don't have a girlfriend. She said, well, hop in my DM. Before I can get in her DM, she jumped in mine. And we're talking. She sent me her phone number. And the most embarrassing thing was to tell her, look, my phone off. She like, your phone off? I'm like, yeah, my phone is off right now. It's, you know, I'll be able to, it was like on a Sunday. And you get advances every Monday and every Thursday. So I was like, you know, I get a cash advance from work tomorrow. I'm gonna pay my phone bill with that. She was cool with that. Like, she was very much cool with that. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, she's really cool. You know what I'm saying? So the next day I paid my phone bill. We get on the phone, we're talking. You know, and she was like, do you need anything? Like, for days I denied it, but every day she would ask me, did I need anything? And it came down to a point where I said, you know what? I'm almost back to Dallas because I had to go down to the yard. I was going to go pick up a trainee and get some work done on my truck. And I'm like, I'm almost back to Dallas. You know, I'll be able to scan in, get some money. If you can look out for me, you know, I'll pay it back tenfold. Without question, she did Walmart to Walmart from her phone. I stopped in Arkansas. I was on I-30 headed to Texas. I stopped in Arkansas and picked it up. And that was like, that opened my eyes to something, because I made it down to Dallas and she really showed her interest in me. And that's what I mean by she was with me when I was shooting in the gym. It didn't matter if I had this good trucking job making this good money. She was like, forget all of that because you don't have any right now. I like you, dude. So now, since I got with her, didn't realize she was a financial consultant because she sell cars. So she was a salesperson, car dealership, and she started showing me how to really save my money and how to stack my money. And then down the line, my bag started to grow. It really started to grow. And then she introduced me to she didn't really so much introduce me to crypto, but she started talking about it more. And that's when I jumped into XRP. And I was just watching how it worked. And then that's when I got more and more interested in the stock market. And then I started putting money into the stock market, And one day, the stock price went up very, very high. Well over $50,000. Well over $75,000. And it's all came from starting out right here at Stevens Transport. I met a beautiful woman who don't play about me, who gonna make sure we eat. As long as I'm eating, she eat. Because she was with me when I was shooting in the gym. So the inspiration come from this. I have students that call me daily. I had a student call me today, very much so ecstatic, telling me how he been getting to the money since he got off my truck. Now, you are a company driver when you get off this truck. And he's telling me about, yo, I have not had a check less than $1,000 since I got my own truck. Now he went on to sign a lease, gave me the referral bonus on it and everything, because he was like, hey man, I appreciate everything you do. I have people who call me, past students who call me on a regular. Thank you for everything you did for me, man. I appreciate all you showed me, everything you did. So that's my life-saving story about Stevens Transport. And that's why I go so hard for Stevens Transport, because I stay here long enough to see it play out. People come to Stevens, get 2-3 checks, oh, this ain't no money, and leave. Go to another company, and when they get to the other company, they ain't getting the same love when it come down to their truck maintenance and all of this other stuff that they was getting at Stevens Transport. And now it's starting to hit their pocket. Oh, the money good over here. Money good. Steven showed me how to run a business, showed me how to manage my fuel, how I should put money in my maintenance account, how I should have a time off account. Everything I need to know to run a business, Stevens taught me. So they're not only a training company for showing you how to drive safely, but they're also a training company training you to run a business. They're showing you how to run a business. So if you only stayed at Stevens for a month, 2 months, you ain't learned nothing. If you was back at Stevens years ago when they wasn't making money for real, then you ain't make no money, and then, you know,
A lot of times I realize a lot of y'all guys don't like to drive. Y'all don't like to keep that truck rolling. People, oh, I was out on the road for this long, but you wasn't running no miles. You wasn't even, you was away from home all that time, but you wasn't even really running the truck like that. Cause ain't no way possible all my students called me telling me how even when they get off my truck as a company driver, they was making money. So Stevens was a life changer for me. And that's why I recommend Stevens for anybody to go get their training, learn the game, learn the business, get your bread up. If you decide to leave Stevens after that, I ain't got no beef with you. Congratulations on getting to the money and learning the game. Because they're going to teach you the game. It's up to you to make it easy or hard. And that's Stevens Transport. If y'all like this video, hit the subscribe button. You know, hit the like for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date on everything popping at Stevens Transport.